pang cast. Si Miles. Come here, Miles. Sounds of Manila. Sounds of Manila. So ngayon, habang bumababa sila, sino nandito? Dennis C muna. So, please, Dennis. Dennis C is a world famous singer, and he was in a band, and of course, he has his career as well. And I know he's in Filipino community. But ang question ko is, how is it working with Richard and collaborating with Richard M. Reyes?
Well, first of all, thank you to the International Film Festival for honoring us with this showing, and actually, the best thing about the video that we worked on as far as Could It Be is concerned is I'm not in there. And I think that gave the filmmaker a lot more leeway in terms of interpreting the message of a song, and I think he did a great job in terms of...
Why did you decide that? Why were you not there?
So ikaw naman, how was it collaborating with Dennis C?
I think it was great. I think my first reaction when he gave the idea of, oh, I'm not going to appear in it, was like videoke. If you guys ever watched videoke. But this was, the scenes in this are not as random. So it speaks very subtly, which I think it was very good as an experience for me for a filmmaker.
Tsaka, very International Film Festival Manhattan. Baka next year pwedeng gawing trailer. So let's talk about naman your experience with Sounds of Manila. Of course, we have to feature the Philippines, right?
Yes. Well, with Sounds of Manila, I'm not exactly sure how it started now. I just remember the point where I think it was really real to me was when we got the permission from Rene Garcia, who's the original, who's from the Hot Dog Band, which is the original for Manila. So Suzanne and I had spoken already beforehand, and we said we can't move forward until we get their thumbs up. They have to support us with this video.
Wow, Sounds of Manila. TOFA Award winner, Sounds of Manila. Wait, tatabi ako para mapicture tayo. So, Suzanne, would you mind introducing your group? Kasi ang usually yung question ko, ano naman ang experience mo collaborating with Richard M. Reyes? Pero, introduce mo rin ang grupo.
Okay, so let me start off with, as I always do, with our drummer. This is J.R. Hendrano. Big hand, please.
Ganda naman boses mo. Modulated.
Just the modulation.
Oh.
And this is my husband and bassist, Ron Sabangan.
Yay!
And unfortunately, there are 3 other members who cannot make it tonight. We have our vocalist, who you saw, Hermie Angeles. We have our lead guitarist, Giorgio Hendrano, his brother, and we also, the big brother. Is it a break? Yeah. And also we have the keyboard player, Bobby De Leon. And of course, our experience with Richard, it was really hard to put all 6 of us together, and I think that was the greatest challenge there was. But he's just very creative, and you have seen that, we just allowed him to do whatever he wanted to do with us, So I guess that was really cool. And we loved it, Richard. Really great. And thank you so much for attending and doing the screening of our video. Okay.
Thank you very much. Sounds of Manila. May CD din kayo, di ba?
Yeah.
So mamaya, tatanong ko yung mga CDs, promos. And then, last but not the least, Mr. Archie D. So tell me about your collaboration with Archie D. Dito ka, man.
So our collaboration with RTD actually started last November. I believe it was one weekend. I said, let's work on a music video, and a week later we were shooting it. We shot it in one day, and as a I guess challenge to myself, and in terms of creativity, I didn't want tools to kind of hold back or direct the type of creativity you have. So believe it or not, his video was fully shot on a point-and-shoot camera. So
what camera was that?
It's the Canon S95.
Commercial.
Point and shoot. But also the other part was we were shooting in Times Square, so we didn't want to get stopped by for having too much equipment there.
So yung question mo naman, how was it working with Richard?
Oh, but before that, I would like to. I'm really inspired when Grace is here. You're from GM. Grace, ladies and gentlemen, from GM. Yeah, when's the next show? Oh, okay. All right. Working with Richard, yeah. I dreamt one night that Dennis is not appearing on any of the pictures on the MTV. I said to Richard, put 4 of my faces on the screen. Yeah, to compensate Dennis's accent.
Oh,
Like that. It was all fun. Out of the 30 songs that I composed and produced, like Richard says, let's do this fly. I like this. I like the meaning. I like the message of fly. So, you know, we ate, and after that, okay, let's do this. Point and shoot. Okay, can I dance here? Can I jog here? Oh, okay. It was fun. Everything was fun. Doing a vid with Richard, it's all fun. Just like the movie. I stuck to my chair from start. Who's the producer anyway?
dami. Ayun, that's it.
Sir, congratulations, congratulations. And my first question that I have to.
Oh no, he wants to win the T-shirt.
I want a T-shirt. I want a
You
T-shirt.
want it? I have a T-shirt.
Okay, the first question.
So,
What's the name of the guy who says, "Oh boy"? The old guy, "Oh boy," and wow. Yeah. Eliseo Perez. Tell him. Where's he? He's still alive, right?
Yes, he is.
Oh my God! Tell him I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. All right.
I'll
so
give you the shirt.
I guess because we need to.
Give the
Well,
shirt.
I guess he gets the shirt because he asked the question. So
Sabi
anyway,
ko na sa'yo,
pero
yung shirt.
in exchange, you need to do photo up outside.
Of course, of course.
We need to get your email.
I have to wear
He
it.
has
Okay.
Thank God. I
Because we have-
gotta change this. Like.
Because we have to move on to the feature filmmaker. But tell us what's next for you guys. Your CD and website.
My CD was out like 2010, but the latest for me is the Reggae Festival in the Philippines, starring Big Mountain. Ooh, baby, I love your
Oh,
way.
yeah.
The Wailers, the original band of Bob Marley. Wow, they're gonna be like Bob Marley's Wailers, Big Mountain, RGD, and it's gonna be in Mindanao.
We have January, no?
Yeah.
Ikaw naman, what's next for you in your website?
On our website.
At this is lang, I guess.
Yeah.
Just promote it.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, you mentioned website. What's new? I think I need a new website. That's what I need. But what's going on is reaching out to more local artists and promoting their work. So I'm glad to have to be in a role where I can shine the light on a lot of these new up and coming stars and talent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your website and your CD?
Okay, we have our website on Facebook.
Facebook.
So I think we just have Facebook.
Sounds of
That's
Manila.
Sounds of
right,
Manila.
Facebook.
For now.
I don't know, for now, yeah. And we have a CD coming up soon, like next year, hopefully. We're working with a legendary composer from the Philippines and an arranger too. So, you know, expect that one. And a lot of shows too.
You've forgotten the
And
composer
Dennis
in New
Lee.
York? Oh my goodness.
Please visit dsymusic.com. Next week we'll be at Atlantic City with Martin Rivera. And we are having an upcoming CD also of just original Dennis C music, so watch out for it. Thank you so much.
I need a century too.
So when are you going to compose a song for us?
So, ladies and gentlemen, music video trio 2011 by Richard M. Reyes, starring.
RGD.
Sounds of Manila.
Dennis C.
Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll do a Q&A with Forgotten Soldiers, Chris Schaefer. Well, you need to video this. While we're doing this, maraming salamat po sa Century Tuna 555. And kumuha po kayo ng Century Tuna sa labas. Salamat sa support nyo. And right now, we're doing a Q&A with Forgotten Soldiers. Please stay for the Q&A of Forgotten Soldiers.
I just have to say something. Thank you for coming. Also, we have our shirts, the International Film Festival shirt, available for $25. If you buy one shirt, $1 goes or 10% goes to Mount Hope Project. So please check our table outside. Okay.
Thank you to our sponsors, GMA Pinoy TV and GMA Live TV, at saka for Century Tuna, and All Media Pinoy, All Media Designs. So we'll have Chris, please. Yeah. So Chris, so tell us about your collaboration with Donald Plata, and then introduce your co-producers. And I know you guys live in different parts of the U.S. How did you get to collaborate on a very comprehensive movie like this?
Well, Don is both a Philippine Scouts reenactor and also a member of the Philippine Scouts Heritage Society. And that's where I ran into him, and he asked me to do the script for this after he'd already begun work on the filming the interviews. His original idea, I think, was to interview these different guys as kind of a heritage video for their families and for historical purposes. And then it just sort of grew there. Somebody said, you know, why don't you do a script and make a movie out of it? And I'd like to introduce Victor Verano as one of the reenactors that's been in the movie and has been in this reenacting business for quite a long time. And he and Don have worked quite a bit on the filmmaking. He can tell you more about how that was done. And then Colleen is our script supervisor, and she's been very involved in reviewing the movie as Don has worked on it and trying to get Don and I to make some improvements as we move along. Victor, you want to tell a little about the filming?
Yes, about 4 years ago, I got an email from a stranger, Donald Plata. He saw some of our pictures, our reenactment pictures portraying Philippine Scouts. It was just a hobby for me and some other guys, and he told me he's making a documentary about the Philippine Scouts, and he would like to shoot some footages, reenacted footages, portraying their heroics. And I said, well, yeah, sure, you know. And then I know some guys who did the same things. And one thing led to another. I told him, listen, I know these guys from Hong Kong. They put together impressions. I talked them into collecting Philippine Scout uniforms. They play airsoft there. You should film them because they look like soldiers. I don't look like one, so. But I put on a helmet. I look like a little kid. So he went around. He shot some footages in Virginia. There's a reenactment there. He went to Reading, Pennsylvania, because every year there's a World War II weekend over there, and that's actually where I reenacted. We shot some over there. He flew to Hong Kong. They went to they rented a ferry. They went to a deserted island there. They shot a lot of the footages over there, and of course he went to Bataan for some of the sweeping scenes. And we basically just helped him however way we could, spreading the word. I forgot to mention that he went to California. There's a group of guys in California who do reenacting, and you saw a lot of them in the film. So, yes.
Question. Do you know from the director, I know the director didn't make it here tonight, but what made him do this film, or is he a relative, or is that something, you know, we have lost, I didn't even know that we had that kind of war all the way to Manila. I mean, Bataan and Corregidor is very, you know, we know that in our history. But do you have any idea if he has spoke how he got through this?
I asked him the same thing, but eventually, I guess birds of the same feather flock together. We're all World War II history buffs, and for some reason, through the internet, we all find each other. We're all a fan of the Philippine Scouts, and we just it's just there. It's like, for me, I cannot verify that I'm related to one, but I've always been fascinated about Bataan, about the Philippine Scouts, and I guess he's the same thing. And we saw that in each other, and basically we just tried to, you know, help each other out. It's for a good cause, you know. It's like I basically started reenacting because I needed to represent. I don't know if anyone has gone to the Reading, Pennsylvania World War II weekend, but basically it's a huge reenactment event spanning a whole weekend, and all the armies were represented by reenactors: Russians, Italians, Germans, Americans. There were there were Marines. There was a Philippine display, but there were no Filipinos. So one day, you know, I go there every year. I thought, I'll do this. I'll do this. I'll represent, and that's how, you know, it all snowballed. I posted some pictures, and
do you go up in ranks when you do reenactments, and then tomorrow you'll be a general?
No, I'm just a private.
So anyways, I want to hear your voice too. So tell me about your experience in Forgotten Soldiers, and of course, how was it working with these two men? Since Donald's not here to fry, so tell me about your experience working with these two men and your involvement in the film.
My involvement in the film is through my husband, Chris Schaefer, who wrote the script. He wrote a book several years ago called Baton Diary, and I edited that. Donald Plata found Chris through the Philippine Scout Heritage Society, which my husband is a member of, and Donald is. And all the Philippine Scouts that were interviewed in this movie were members of the Philippine Scout Heritage Society. So when we started with the movie, I continued to edit the scripts that my husband wrote. And then when Donald and Chris had a rough cut movie, they needed someone who did not have the detailed knowledge they had of World War II and the specifics. So I was one of the first editors of the movie so that we could get facts in that they knew and assumed the rest of us knew, but we didn't. So I was trying to help them make it a little bit more oriented to those of us who are just learning some of this history, and instead of being the buff that they are. So that's been my involvement.
Can you name me the book again?
Chris's book is called Baton Diary, An American History of World War II.
It's available in...
It's available on Kindle currently.
Okay.
It was published in 2004, and the paperbacks sold out, so now it's available on Kindle.
So now I think we're available for, where are the t-shirts? Well, available for questions. So Chris, do you want to scream it out?
I can imagine there are more footages than has been shown on the film as far as the interviews are concerned. Did they ever touch on their misgivings? I mean, I'm sure the war did not always make sense to them. And then after the war, you know, the recognition would take so long, especially the benefits that are due them. Did they ever speak about this?
Speak about the benefits or the
benefits and whatever misgivings they may have had about the war.
Well, I don't know that the Scouts themselves would have had a lot of misgivings. These guys were young men who really were dedicated soldiers. They were professional soldiers serving in the U.S. Army at that time. And they were quite dedicated and quite professional. At the end of the war, one of the controversies that's come up has been the issue of benefits. And at the end of the war, the U.S. granted a certain amount of money to the Philippine Veterans Association to take care of Philippine Army veterans. The amount that was given is, whether it was adequate or not, is very questionable. The Philippine Scouts, since they were members of the U.S. Army, got the same benefits that normal, regular U.S. Army soldiers get. So they really weren't affected by the problems that occurred with the Veterans Administration in the Philippines or the benefit question. Did that answer your question?
So I guess we don't have time, but you can network with them at the red carpet to take pictures with them. But any final words? Please name your name again, your position in the film, and your parting words, and maybe where they can get a DVD of this or something like that. Your name and it.
I'm Chris Schaefer. I was the screenwriter. We don't have DVDs yet. We hope that they'll be available starting in January.
My name is Victor Verano, and I was one of the reenactors in the film.
My name is Colleen Webb, and I was a script editor.
And did any one of you fly in for this?
I came from Salt Lake City. Colleen came from Houston. Victor's here from Philadelphia.
Wow, we literally flew in for this. So ladies and gentlemen, feel free to network with them at the red carpet and take pictures with our guests from Forgotten Soldiers. Thank you very much. And again, as I said, they're nominated for the award for International Film Festival in Manhattan.
Luis, I just want to thank you for having Forgotten Soldiers.
Thank you too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll bring you to the red carpet. Oh, just one photo.